Everybody, welcome to another episode of our new show called Ranger Games. I am your co host along with two others. We'll introduce them in a second. But this is a show that is geared towards veterans. If you're a veteran, you're going to want to watch. If you are a friend of a veteran, or a relative of a veteran, you want to watch. If you are wanting to be, or you're going to be a veteran from serving in our armed forces, thank you for your service, first and foremost. But we also, this show is for you. So it's, even if you have no connection to a veteran, this show is for you. You're going to have a glimpse into three gentlemen, two being my co-host and one being a guest, in their lives and into the lives of military service. So we want to welcome you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going good.
State your names, guys.
Jim.
I'm Joel, and we have
John.
Yep. All veterans of service. So Jim served in the Army. Unfortunately, he was an officer. John here, as you can see, was in the Navy. You were enlisted, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you
right out
actually
of
worked?
high school, I joined
Oh,
the
so
Navy.
right on. So he actually worked. And I was also enlisted, so I worked occasionally because I was a medic. So we only worked occasionally. No, we worked hard. So everybody worked hard.
Actually, we didn't want to see the medics work.
Right.
Hey, after a long weekend, you did.
Oh, yeah.
We were the most popular guys on base at that point.
That's right.
Ranger candy and 500 of mils of lactated ringers. So, and a good PT run.
Oh.
Yeah, you ever had a few of those long weekends?
Every time I had a long weekend, I went home to visit family. I was stationed within 500 miles of my hometown.
Oh, really? That's good.
Yeah.
I bet you it was a long drive if you were on a boat.
9 hours. 9 hours
9 hours?
in a 1952 Chevy.
1952 Chevy.
Yeah,
Is that-
the first car?
No air conditioning, right?
Nope.
What
Windows
bases
down.
were you stationed at? That was
After recruit training at Great Lakes, Illinois, then I went to Bainbridge, Maryland. What I tried to do was follow in my father's footsteps. He was World War II, and he did his basic training at Bainbridge, Maryland. So I got a year there and did some training, radio school. And then I applied. Anybody can get to Norfolk, Virginia. So I applied for a ship at Norfolk, Virginia, and I got a destroyer, same that my dad was on in World War II. So
Oh, that's cool.
I was lucky. I got to follow exactly in his footsteps, except I didn't go to the invasion of Okinawa.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing. Especially because that would mean that there's a second one.
That's right.
But so you were on the same ship your dad was?
Not the same ship, the same type of ship.
Type of ship.
A
Oh, okay.
destroyer. Yeah.
I was gonna say if you're on the same ship your dad is, the Navy's getting a lot of use out of those ships.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean that's a little bit about John here. We've heard about you were a tanker, I was a medic. So
My
yeah,
dad had M48 tanks,
Oh,
and I was an M60 tanks.
all right.
So,
Pretty close there.
Pretty close.
Same thing.
yeah, my dad didn't serve, so I was the first one in a couple generations. I think my grandpa may have been on my dad's side, but I'm not sure about that. So
That brings back memories. I'm thinking, I didn't really remember my dad after the war because he got called up in 1944. That's when they started taking married guys in because they was running out of single guys, I guess. And so I'd be less than 3 years old. And Dad was gone almost 2 years. What I really remember about my dad, we went down the train station and the bus station, and somehow we missed him. But we're coming up Main Street in my hometown, and there's this sailor walking up there, and Grandpa and Mom, they pulled over, my sister and I's in the back seat. This sailor gets in there. He's got a Look magazine. I can still remember that he was probably reading on the bus or the train, whatever he came in on. But that's the first time I really remember my father.
oh really?
Yes.
Man, I have a lot of memories of my dad from beginning to old. We'll skip over those. Anyways,
I just remember my dad, after the service, being a school teacher, one of the few teachers that wore a suit, tie, and he polished his shoes every day.
Yeah.
And he always had his wallet, his watch, and that's what I saw. His regimen every single day was the same.
That's kind of the way I am. Yes, that same way. I worked in the fire department. My shoes were always polished.
well, you're still
Uniform.
involved with the fire department. You're
Yeah,
on the fire board.
I got over 50 years with fire service.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see you running out carrying hoses anymore these days, but you're definitely involved where you can be.
I told them I'm available on fifth alarms. They need good managers.
That's right. Over
Fire
there.
alarm?
Over there.
We had one of those kind of recently. We had a pretty big one, so. Yep.
No, I'm just joking about that. I serve as a chaplain for Estacada and Colton Fire District, so that's where I serve now. Besides being on the board of directors.
Yeah, and chaplain service is not just for the firefighters there, but it's for the families and the victims, correct?
Yes, mostly bringing comfort and helping family. You're never prepared for death. And it's always the neighbor, the uncle, the aunt. But when it happens in your family, especially an instant death that you weren't prepared for, if somebody's been fighting cancer for 2 years or heart disease or something like that, you know that time's coming. But most of the time they're unprepared, and I do what I can to bring comfort to them and get them the resources they need if they want it.
Well, thank you for doing that on behalf of Estacada.
Definitely.
It definitely, it's a positive impact
Yeah,
in the community, John.
thank you.
Yep.
One of the things that are ingrained, that's ingrained in a serviceman or woman's mind is this mind of service. And so I want to throw it out to you guys. John, you just exemplified a whole lifestyle of service. Is that something that's birthed in the military from ground zero, boot camp on up, or do you already go into that mindset with an attitude of service? I'll put that out to all of you to discuss.
Well, for me, my family was well disciplined. And then I went to a Catholic school, and they were well disciplined. And then right into the Navy. The military was a little different than the school, a little more stringent. But
Not these days.
I've been under discipline most all my life, regimented, I guess. So, and my wife, she's I drive her nuts because I'm always thinking ahead. She gets, I have to watch myself because I can frustrate her. I have to know my place. You know, you guys, you all know your place, don't you? In the marriage, you all know your place.
See, my wife's smarter than me, and I know it.
Absolutely.
So she lets me think I'm in charge. So
Yeah.
that's what makes her smarter. Oh man, yeah. I think the military really helped me learn my place, and that's probably why we do well in marriage. Is because I can definitely, even though I know that I'm right, I can say yes sir, yes ma'am, and just know that I'm right. But they're
right.
in charge.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
That
was good one, Brandy.
Oh man.
And my military career was good for the fire service because the fire service has kind of the same regiment, the same discipline, the training you have to do, you have to be on time, and you have to be able to go into battle instantly, I would say, when that bell goes off.
Mhm.
you change from what you're doing here to the emergency mode, and you have to be trained for that. So.
It's good. Okay, Eagle.
Jim.
So, John, let me ask you about this. I talk about it all the time. You're in the Navy. You should know Navy math, right?
God.
Can I take the Fifth Amendment on this?
Yes,
So
you can.
that's fine. I can help you with one. So you've heard about Navy math, and I'm sure
I
you
know.
did.
I
I was thinking
know.
more about how 2,500 sailors would go onto a boat, and 1,250 couples will come off.
That would probably be 2,500.
2,500 sailors go into a boat, and 1,200 couples come off.
Yeah,
That's Navy math.
yeah, okay, got it. Still can
You've
talk.
never heard that when you're supposed to say that.
You're weird, Joe.
We're gonna
I've been
let
accused of that before.
we're gonna let Joel. We're gonna let Joel
That's
sit.
Tony's job
Yeah,
over here.
we're gonna let
Weird.
Joel sit in that math a little bit. Let's actually go to Jim with that same question.
Seeing my mom and dad volunteered a lot, whether it was the Pine Street Inn with the homeless in Boston, especially during the winter time. My parents were both school teachers, and they collected heavy jackets, things. So I saw that as a young age.
Yeah.
Even to this day, my mother still volunteers all of her time at the churches down where they live in Florida. So when I retired, it was an easy choice, easy decision to do things. It's such a great community, Cicada. Pretty easy decision. Nice being up here with the family and the community here. Pretty easy decision.
Yeah.
Give back.
To give back. You know, looking at giving back, we're going to go right to our sponsor. There is a sponsor called Whitney Signs. They give back in many ways to this community, and one of them is they make signs that are off the chain. You're going to want to watch this. Welcome back to Ranger Games, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You guys, we are back with 3 awesome veterans, 2 of them being my co-hosts, and the other one being a special guest with us. I'm going to throw the next thing out. We talked last section about, getting to know you a little bit. I didn't say it right. But we're going to, what is this challenge coins thing that I keep on looking at? I think there's like 2 reasons why you would have one. It's an earning, but at the same time, you use them in some type of setting. So why don't you guys talk about challenge coins, and if you've received one, just expound on that a little bit.
I've got a collection.
Yeah. So challenge coins were definitely kind of a cool thing. I really enjoyed that, and I actually got quite a few of them while I was in Afghanistan. They just not all made them back here. But the coin basically, there's the official recognition of the coin. It's like, hey, you did a good job.
Right.
Here's me recognizing you did a good job. But the more lesser official reason is if you go to a bar, he who has the highest coin doesn't pay for drinks. So.
Right.
I better dig in my drawer then. Because I've got a collection.
And I have this. I usually carry this. I know you can't see this, but this is when military school in college. I always carry this. This is part of the rescue team I was a part of. It has our logo, Norwich University, founded in 1819. Then it has the rescue team logo when it was founded in 1947.
Yeah.
So if you would go up to a Norwich University member, could be Army, Marine, they'd have this in their pocket. Just like Joel said, you could talk to them and they would let you know what number they were. They wouldn't be paying for any drinks.
Oh, wow.
I just brought some in just so everybody could see some. This is
This is pretty cool. This is
I brought some Border Patrol
California.
ones in and American Legion one, and this one right here is, there it is right there. This is the museum at Norwich University where we honor several of the Silver Star recipients, Purple Heart recipients in all the battles since 1819 when it was founded. So my wife and I got this one at my old professor of military science, Colonel Donovan, who was a Silver Star recipient in Vietnam.
That's neat, yeah.
So it was pretty cool.
So that brings it up. I'm a member of the Patriot Guard Riders
Mhm.
that stand for at funerals for veterans, and we always give the family member a coin.
That's a nice touch.
Do you still ride?
No, I quit riding about 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Yes.
You don't occasionally get into like the little sidecar or something?
No, no. We always said, there's some of my friends, that when we couldn't ride the two-wheelers anymore, we weren't riding. I bought that Harley Davidson new. It had 10 miles on it when I drove out of the showroom floor. And when I sold it, it had 116,000 miles.
Oh, dang,
Wow,
that's a lot of
wow.
miles.
I've been around the
Bike.
United
Wow.
States 3 times on it.
Nice.
That's great, that's great.
On June 2004, June 30th, I rolled out of the driveway and I got back August 13th.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that is a long time.
45
June,
days.
July,
Wow.
August, that's almost what,
In the
3 months,
summertime
4
too.
45 days it calculated out to.
Oh, wow.
August, June to August, yeah.
You're a brave man with how everybody drives out there now.
Yes, you have to watch them. They'll look you in the eye and pull out in front of you sometimes, yeah.
Ah, man, yeah, it's, I'd have trouble on 4 wheels, let alone 2.
Amen. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Definitely.
It takes a special skill. So, hey, you know, I was trained to stick a needle into things and sew people back up, but not balance.
Yeah.
So these are pretty cool. The one I'm holding here is a no veteran left behind National Vice Commanders 2021 to 2022 from the.
I got this when we had the leading candidate for the commander of the American Legion actually
That's
came.
Border Control or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a task force down in San Diego.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Anti-smuggling and DEA, ATF.
Yeah, that's a cool coin. I like that one, yeah.
I can
This
show it
one-
a little closer.
This one represents the two.
There you
Yeah, I showed that one a little earlier.
Okay, yeah, Joel, show this one. This is, we had the commander for the American Legion, which will be next year. And we also had a first vice commander, the American Legion from Los Angeles, visit Estacada.
go. Oh, all
So the
right.
guy that's going to be running the show for the American Legion has been to Estacada.
Nice.
So it was quite an honor, definitely.
He
Absolutely.
came out there in
him
the car
here.
show, right?
That's a big
The
honor.
what?
He came out there in the car show.
No, that was the Sons of American Legion
Oh,
commander. We had ours last year, and we had dinner with him at the Cazadero.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, yeah, you mentioned that. So
It was good.
I remember there was a general in Afghanistan that whenever we'd present a coin, it was always in a handshake and then the palm of the, you know, that's how you get your coin. And there's other ones that they just hand it to you and stuff. But yeah, I remember when he gave me a coin over there. That one didn't make it back. I actually, regretfully, traded that for something for a soldier that needed something. So you're not supposed to
That's
trade
noble.
the coins, but sometimes you.
Somebody gets in a bind.
Definitely.
So, I was the guy over there that traded stuff for other things. Very first trade I did was some cigars for a favor or something I needed. I think I got some pocket knives or something out of it. But yeah, our guys needed aid bags over there, so I would trade. Hey, what do you need? Oh, we want some Gatorade shakes, and so, I know where those are at. So I'd go figure out who had those, and what do you guys need? It was like a underground bartering system in Afghanistan.
That's awesome.
Best trade I ever did, and I'll talk about it all the time, but it's I traded a Connex box for 2 chairs kind of like these, a 40-inch television DVD player, and a stand for our common room of the camp.
That's important.
Absolutely.
I-
Chairs, TV.
Yep. Yep. They had given them extra ones at the hospital there, and they didn't know anywhere to put them. So, and they needed a Connex box. I got them the Connex box, and that's what they got.
Awesome.
Did the Army, did the Air Force, I don't know, did they show movies every night?
I think they may have showed them. I think there was like a movie theater on the big base had it.
Right.
The small bases didn't.
It would be like $1 or $2 to see a movie. It was
Oh, you're talking about on the
on base.
on base not in Afghanistan, but on.
Right.
Yeah. The Navy always shows movies, and nice weather, we'd turn a 5-inch gun mount around sideways and set up the projector on the fantail there, and we'd sit out there and watch movies, and they always had a movie every night. Very rarely did you miss a movie. And sometimes you'd come, I was a radio man, so you'd radio another ship, see what movies they had in the flotilla, and then we'd tell them what we had. At about 4 o'clock, we'd come alongside and throw a line over and trade movies.
Nice.
It was cool. I liked it. And we had a popcorn machine down there.
So what I'm hearing is the Navy had a lot of extra time on their hands.
The only time, we were always ready to go. We trained for war, and I went in 59, and Korea was over, 53 or 54.
Right.
So we still have that war mentality. So we're on the work, working all the time, training at sea, and we had Russian trawlers spying on us, so we'd take pictures of them and turn them in. But one time I was in Cuba, and it was Sunday afternoon. I walked up to the enlisted men's club, just ordered a beer and took one sip out of it. Here comes the shore patrol. Everybody, get deuce and a half out there, and we're taking you to your ship. What's up? We're not telling you. Just get in there. And we're driving towards the dock, and the smoke's coming out of that destroyer. And I thought, uh-oh. And the F-4s are flying out of the base to get on the carrier out there. And so I come on board. They sent me down, me and another guy, down to the emergency radio room. And we sailed for 2 hours at general quarters, and finally the skipper come on and told us there's invasion of Cuba that night. So we steamed all night in general quarters, and I'm just waiting for the guns to start going off. But somehow that got canceled. It never went through. At 6 o'clock in the morning, they took us off at general quarters. But that's the only time we trained for war, but that's the only time we came close to it. So, and I was out, about 3 months when they had that missile crisis in Cuba there. So.
Gotcha. Wow. Yeah, I worked a lot with the Navy in Afghanistan. They were part of the provisional reconstruction teams,
Okay.
and their CBs are out there, and they'd be building roads and things like that.
Sure.
So
CB's building roads?
Yeah.
Why would they do that? In the Navy?
Well, they have the construction battalion.
Army Corps of Engineers?
I don't know what happened. Maybe they're not doing as good a job as the Navy.
I don't know.
Or maybe the Navy was low bid.
Well,
Low-bid.
low bid.
That's good.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So I also worked with a lot of Marines as well, and so I wanted to ask, since you were in the Navy, how do you feel about the Marines being the men's department of the Navy?
It's okay. We hauled them around. We dumped them off, and 2 or 3 years later, we come back, pick them up, bring them back home. And they made good guards there at the base, the gate guards, and going on the carriers. We didn't have them on the destroyers, thank God. Nobody heard that, did they?
Nope.
No, we love the Marines. We need to drop them off, and they can really kick butt.
Oh,
And
yeah,
when they're
definitely.
done, we pick them up and bring them back.
That's the truth.
One thing I have to say, and I say a lot about the Air Force because those are smart ones. They get the good building, they get the nice toys and everything else.
Yep.
But the Navy, I think, out of all the services, has the best cooks.
Well, we ate good. I never ate in the 3.5 years that I was in there. I got discharged early because I didn't want to reenlist. But I never ate K-rashers. Never opened a box of them. Don't even know what they look like.
We're gonna have to have them come back
Oh,
and do it on.
yeah.
That's another
Yeah.
episode right there.
I've heard about them.
Or MREs. We'll bring you up a
Yeah.
generation.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
There we go.
We'll bring you some MREs, and you'll issue the MREs in a bottle of laxatives because you'll need it.
You know, a little chicken a la king, or
I think I think he needs the.
I'll just take
the
your word.
omelet.
I'm okay. I'll take your word for it. I understand these were in the lifeboats, but I never see them.
You know, really fast. This is a rhetorical question, but do they? I wonder if they have pizza. You call them EREs? No. What are they?
MREs.
MREs. Do
Yeah.
they have pizza MREs? If they do, I wonder if they have kitchen posts on that MRE.
You know?
If they do,
You could almost make one.
you can almost make one. Well, maybe Hitchin Post Pizza will actually make an MRE. That's a pizza. Anyways, we have a local pizza shop that we want to brag about. It's called Hitchin Post by Valerie. She's one of our, she's been on the show before, but she's one of our sponsors. So we want to show you this right now.
Never Friday night.
Hey, welcome back to Ranger Games. And you know, there was a comment that we want to just express to you guys. Do you really know how awesome you are, how loved you are, and how respected you are? Have people actually shown that to you? That's a good question.
That even happened today at a restaurant. Or this evening, the wife and I was eating out before I came here. And a lady got up from the booth and come over and thanked me for my service. And I always get caught off guard when that happens. But she said she had 3 sons in the Navy too. So, but yeah, every once in a while I'll get that. And I'm never expecting it. I never expect it. It's just when it happens, I'm kind of caught off guard, and I appreciate it. So, but I just went in there to do my job, just like a firefighter. That's a career I signed up for. But it's really something when people come up and take the time to thank you for your service. Yes.
definitely, and even in regards to law enforcement, going to the academy, meeting everyone, you can tell who the veterans are in
Yes.
about 30 minutes.
Yes.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
Wow.
It doesn't matter what branch of service, you can tell.
I think in
Instantly.
a lot of cases you can kind of tell who our veteran is. And when you see them, they kind of stand out in groups, and the jobs they do,
Definitely.
the way they hold themselves in groups of people, and usually they're the ones that have their backs to the wall, facing the door.
Yeah.
I don't like large crowds.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's the military creates a certain sense of person. I mean, it's not true 100% of the time, but for the most part, when that discipline's instilled, when there's a sense of training, you serve something higher than yourself. It gives you a sense of purpose. And I think that when that's really instilled in you, I mean, you went into the Border Patrol, and now in your retirement, you serve the community. I mean, you serve the community in regards to nonprofits, to the American Legion, and kind of whatever is asked of you. You there yourself, John. After the military, you went into firefighting. You're a chaplain. You again have served the community, and you've partook in many different events as it is there across the city to serve others. It's instilled in military to serve, I think, and usually it's the ones that have that original heart of service that's laid upon. It builds on them and it just carries through, I think, the rest of their life. At least that's why I've seen it evident.
Definitely.
I agree, yes.
We still have a ways to go to catch up to, though.
So I'm going to throw a little bit of a hot topic in here for you, okay, guys? We've had over the last 4 or 5 years, we've had over the last 4 or 5 years kind of a cancel culture type of flavor. And there was a big move to rename some military bases because there were Confederate generals' names who fought to defend slavery. I presume that your base would be your home, so there's a special attachment to that. What do you guys feel about the renaming of posts?
I don't even want to go there. That really upsets me. That's a change that should have never been. Whether you were like the South in the war or you favored the North, both of those generals were honorably serving. I don't know if you know about it, but a lot of them were Christian men. They held Bible study at camps and stuff like that. So this cancel culture just is really a big disappointment for me. So it's just unreasonable. In fact, I probably shouldn't say this word, but I'm going to. It smacks of communism.
You can say it all you need to there.
Okay.
And I think I've been pretty evident over the last couple of years, and especially on the show, where I stand when it comes to cancel culture and even more to tearing down and removing our history. But that oversteps the line, but to go so much further and to remove a military history, someone who has fought and served their country at the time, and the times there were different, but that's never taken into account, but they still served. And the things that's being done today that everybody maybe think is honorable, someone in 100 years from now could look back and go, what were they doing? And I guarantee you 100 years from now, people are going to look back and go, what the heck was the U.S. going through at this time? How were facts turned upside down and truth was false and false was truth.
Definitely. In regards to me, I'm from New England. My dad was a history teacher after the Army. So learning about the 54th Massachusetts Infantry, it was pretty special. And then the town I grew up in was incorporated in 1630. So my dad was always, it was military, 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 young politicians, lawyers, the Boston Massacre, and then, like you said, forwarding to the Civil War in the 1860s. I don't think a lot of people know that Robert E. Lee went to West Point, but he chose Virginia over the U.S. I mean, it's still the U.S. We all fought Americans versus Americans, and that's what Joel was alluding to try to erase history.
Those who don't know their history are doing to repeat it. You have to, good or bad, you have to know the history.
That's right.
And a statue doesn't always mean that you're giving praise to that person. It means that you're putting it there so people will understand the history. And if that person offends you for whatever your statue is, then talk to the people around you that see that statue and put your words out there. That's the First Amendment. But you don't tear it down. You use it as a point to teach, whether that's whatever your viewpoint coming from, use it as a point to teach.
History was one of my favorite subjects in school, and I still keep up on it. The Civil War was one of them. Mm-hmm. I had a great uncle who was in the Battery, Pennsylvania Volunteers.
Nice.
And I've walked to Gettysburg battlefield a couple of times. And it's like you say, it's part of history. what's disappointing is these cities that let them do that.
Right.
The governments in that city.
But
try and pull one of them statues down here in Estacada
oh
and
yeah.
see what
Good
it
luck.
would never happen.
But go back to what you were saying about what did it feel like on the battlefield at Gettysburg?
Oh,
Isn't it? It's
yeah,
amazing. Yeah, you learn the tactics, you learn
yeah,
which way they went, and all the information they were receiving on how to push forward or outflank them,
yeah,
and then to actually be there.
yeah.
Well, here's one thing. I will say that those guys had a set of cojones on them back in the day to stand there in a line and wait for the people across the field to shoot at you,
The great
Yeah.
shots,
and then
coming
shoot at them,
Yeah.
and then to keep standing there in the
They're
line.
reloading, and
That
Yeah.
was Napoleon's tactics.
I
Yes.
am
And it carried over. Yeah.
I am much more happy with today's tactics
Oh, yeah.
because you hide behind something. The cover finally became a thing, you know.
Right.
Cover and concealment,
That's right.
guerrilla tactics.
Yeah.
Once we kicked those in, oh man, things changed quite heavily.
All of a sudden, I lost my thought, but that battle of Gettysburg there, the forget who was leading that charge, ran across the field, and they made it right up to the cannons, and and thousands of people were being shot there, and they keep coming on and standing back in line and moving on, and they got right up. They broke the line, but they lost it right there. So.
I don't think people realize what they were fighting for when they were reading the history. I mean, a lot of people don't even realize that we had a U.S. currency and we had a Confederate currency. Just that right there, it's got to go to U.S. currency.
Yes,
I mean, we have to have one currency. We're one nation.
yes,
I mean, you have to learn about those things.
yes,
I mean, they were obviously fighting about a lot of other things, but
yeah,
that right there was the inception of the U.S. Secret Service. Not because President Lincoln was assassinated, it's because we had two monies in this country.
yes.
Had to get rid of one.
I think I learned the most about the Civil War from a movie I watched once. It was called Lincoln Vampire Hunter. You ever?
I don't think I
I
watched
know
that.
it well.
Abe Lincoln. Apparently, the Civil War was about vampires. If you didn't know.
I didn't know that.
I would say one thing on getting back to Gettysburg, that you go into this big hall here and you sit around. Have you been there?
I have.
Yeah. And they go through the maps, all the battles. Then you get on a bus and they put the microphones on you. And at each place you come to, they talk about that battle. And it makes you feel like you're right there. I mean, you get to experience that as much as you can.
I haven't been to any of those areas over there, and it's one of my bucket list items.
Yeah.
It's like I've never been to Disneyland, so
You're not missing
it's one of these days I'm going to hit everything. Well, I can't go right now for obvious
Knott's Berry,
reasons.
go to Knott's Berry Farm.
That's
Very
right.
warm.
That's pretty cool.
There's actually better Disneylands for me, and usually it involves something that goes bang bang.
Or the ones on the horses.
Yeah.
With the large lances.
Yeah.
I love to hear you guys.
You need to
talk.
go to Threat Dynamics if you.
Oh, I love that.
Oh.
Oh, that's a great place.
I used to go there once a month. For
Oh, really?
2 or 3 years.
Did you ever wear the belt?
Yep.
Oh,
Twice, and I quit wearing it.
Tony's experienced the belt.
I was just getting ready to say threat dynamics. You threw that out there, and there's a lot of stories. When we come back, one of the most memorable things I've got to experience, and you talked, John, a lot about. You talked to Cameron here. You talked a lot about how you felt, and it felt you weren't talking in a pissed off way, but you were very strong about it. And it's because if we, like Joel said, and I loved it, man. You said if we don't observe history, we're doomed to repeat it. So being able to go to these places and bring my kid and actually, John, you tell her about some of these stories that you've experienced and not cancel those stories out, gives her a glimpse and an appreciation for your service. But if we are going to continue to tear down history, it leaves us pissed off. And we have a pissed off Patriot line that we'd like to show you right now. Watch this. Hey guys, welcome back to Rangers Games and hopes that you saw what we just put up there. Please order off of our Facebook page, order off of our website. We are just one of 3 shows that we do, Backwoods Brothers as well as Ranger Games, and our show tomorrow night with Brandy. We'd actually do it on the other show, but it's campfire discussions. You won't want to miss it. Each show is geared towards something specific, and so you want to be a part of that. I want to leave this as a last question I want to throw out there. It's just a little bit lighthearted. You guys have kind of danced around the subject of movies, and I'm just going to come up with this off the top of my hat. Is there a movie out there that that is accurate to your experience? And if there are, please let us know which ones are accurate. And if there's ones also that are not as accurate, but maybe Hollywoodized, if that's a word, then let us know that too. So what movies have impacted you? What movies have really made you upset? Okay.
Hacksaw Ridge is the first one that comes to mind.
Yes.
That's
So,
a good one.
That's a really good one.
Yeah. With Grenada, that was a good movie.
So,
Band
Band of
very
Brothers.
good leadership.
Band of Brothers is good.
Band of Brothers is excellent.
Yeah.
I'm going to be off here, but the 10 Commandments by, when did that come out, 1948 or 49? That was a pretty accurate movie.
Huh?
I still like to look at that one once in a while. That told a true story of the Old Testament, Moses, those days there.
That was a different kind of army.
Yeah.
That was-
Yeah.
Still.
I told you I was going to be off on that, but it's
Hey, you know what? I
favorite
think
movie.
it's good though. I have to agree. I mean,
Yes.
Another good one that I liked was From Here to Eternity. That was a good military Navy. And then one I liked.
Bridge over the River Kwai.
That was a good one. But John Wayne movie, they took off on the aircraft carrier.
Oh,
Oh, I'm trying to remember that. That was a good one and reminded me of World War II memories that my dad talked about.
well, you remember Hogan's Heroes?
Yeah.
oh, I love Hogan's
And
Heroes.
the movie was what? Stalag 17.
Yes.
Oh.
And then they made, they had The Great Escape,
Yep.
and then they had Stalag 17, and then they had Hogan's Heroes.
Yes, that's
I'm
right.
like, the people are the same, Dad. The characters.
Yeah.
Hogan's
So-
Heroes was a great show. Obviously not accurately
No.
historically correct, but it was great.
Yeah.
Anything modern these days is pretty much not that accurate and more Hollywoodized. But
Definitely.
as you go back, I'd say 20 years and further back, usually the further back you go, the more accurate you're going to get.
I mean, Saving Private Ryan. When my kids were old enough, I made sure they watched the first 15 minutes of the movie because that really affected me.
Yeah.
Because The Greatest Generation,
Yes.
and how are we ever gonna, have anyone give that sacrifice what they did? That was, and my kids were like,
The beach,
yeah.
Yeah.
They were just like, that
The beach
really
scene.
happened?
The
Yeah, it
beach
did.
scene.
D-Day.
Yeah.
So,
The beach scene got me too. You know what? I said this is the last question, but I like because I want to end on actually this one. One of the other greatest impacts that I've had in Backwoods Brothers is when we did an observance last year, I believe, Joel Broski, and we were observing the 13 armed men and women who gave their lives over in Afghanistan. That one, I saw something on your face that was real. And for me, it literally brought a tear to my eye, even though I hadn't served in that capacity. Is there since we're a culture, hopefully, of still honor, is there any observance that brings a tear to your eyes?
9/11.
that's a good one. Anytime I haven't attended one in a long time, but I've seen them, the fallen soldier ceremonies. I put lots of brothers in arms onto planes, and so I've seen them on a video that still brings back a lot of memories. So those are big ones.
The first Thursday of every month of Willamette National Cemetery, Patriot Guard riders, along with the military, honor those dead soldiers that don't have any family. They find the remains, the cremains, and they bring them down there and they give them a military burial. And That's really touching to me. I haven't been to one for a while since I sold my motorcycle. I can still go, but standing for a long time, it doesn't work for me anymore. So, but that's very touching to see that those forgotten soldiers are not forgotten. And those forgotten servicemen are not forgotten. So,
Yeah, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. I had to learn a lot about that when I was first went in, and it's because I was actually being selected for honor guard at the time. Life took me different routes for that one, but yeah, so I learned a lot about it during training, and that would have been kind of cool to be a part of that.
sure.
So,
Definitely,
Yes.
definitely.
I've really been an honor. Yes.
All right, guys. Thank you to my two co-hosts, Joel and Jim. And a special thank you definitely to John McAdoo, our very own Estacada.
Thank you
Proud.
so much for inviting me. It's been a humbling experience. The
Wow.
set was real soldiers, and all I did was eat hot meals 3 times a day.
Oh, we appreciate that, but you definitely, everybody, and this is the thing I tell my friend of mine. He was a Marine, but he never deployed, and he feels like he never did anything. I said, the fact is that you were there, you were ready, and you were gone should the call come. That right there is honorable in itself, even if you didn't get overseas. And I thank God those who didn't have to, because there's a piece of you that you give up and you don't bring back with you.
Yes.
And so, yeah.
Go ahead. Speaking to that, as a piece of you that you don't necessarily get back once you're deployed and you serve, I want you to remember, we want you to remember that there is help, there's support, and we'll say this at the end of every show. You're not forgotten, by the way. You matter. If you are a veteran and you're suffering in silence and you're not talking to other veterans like what you've seen here, your time is now, and you can reach out to someone. If you have a friend, a veteran friend, if you yes, yes,
We included it
Yep.
in the
in
description.
the description. So
Yep.
definitely look at that description. There is help, there's support for you, there's love for you, and don't put the pride away and reach out. 988 is also our suicide helpline, and I'm sure that there are people that will be able to stand by. But most of all, you matter. You've given your life. Don't take your own.
Yes.
We love you. We'll see you next week.